score to you, okay, afterward. Okay, fine. Let's start the practical on the biological oxygen demand. So here, determination of the biological oxygen demand. So before to start this session on the virtual lab, okay. So we are taking this, we are taking the experiments of environmental engineering on virtual lab, and obviously this virtual lab platform is provided by the Ministry of Education, Government of India. Okay, and it is with the partnership with the NITK Suratkar. So this particular link which I was sharing with you, all these are from that virtual lab platform. Okay. So we are taking the benefit of it as it is a free of cost. So obviously we are taking the benefit of it, and we run the experiments on the virtually. Okay. So let's see first what is the aim. So here the aim is to find the biological oxygen demand exerted by the given sample of wastewater. Okay, so this is the aim of this practical. Now if you see the theory already, the theory part is we seen in the theory in the classroom, where we learn about why the BOD is essential, and what is the process, what are the steps to be carried out to, so that we can find out what is the BOD. So BOD is what? It is a biochemical oxygen demand. Okay, so we are finding how much is this the polluted matter or the sewage present in the water, and that can be calculated on the basis of for finding the BOD. Okay, so those matter, organic matter, which are decomposed by the microorganisms. Okay, and that value we got that BOD. So how much is the organic matter present in the wastewater or into the water one? So here it is a simple formula that we can calculate the value of BOD. How we can calculate the BOD? If we know what is the initial concentration of the DO and what is the final concentration of the DO. Okay, and on that basis we can say yes, this much is the amount of the BOD is present, or this much is the BOD is decomposed by the microorganisms. Ultimately we can say this is the number that is present in the wastewater. Just like if there is a industrial wastewater, what we do, we are collecting the samples. Initially we note down what is the value of DO present in it, and once the organic matter it is started to decomposition with the help of the microorganisms, and after a 5 days we will find what will be the value of DO. Now this test is carried out in the incubator with the help of the BOD bottle. Okay, so let's see one by one the procedure and the theory part of it. So BOD, as we say, the 5-day test. Why it is a 5-day test? Already we seen that is in our theory part. That why? Because the maximum rate we will get in first 5 days, means the maximum consumption of the organic matter in first 5 days. After that one, the process is very slow. So the rapid process is up to the 5, and because of that one, what we do, we are taking a 5-day test and at 20 degrees Celsius temperature. Okay, so the sample which is we want to know the what is determine the what is the value of the BOD, that is we kept into the BOD bottle. We add certain chemicals in it, and after that one we place that the BOD bottle into the incubator at 20 degrees Celsius for a 5 days. And then obviously the bottle, it is airtight, so there is no chances of the air bubbles to move this goes into the bottle, and because of that one we only consume the oxygen which is present into the BOD bottle. Okay, so now the test is what? So here the test is consists of the taking the samples with a suitable concentration in a dilute water in a BOD bottles. So we are taking the two bottles. The one we are instantly we are taking the what is the value of DO, and another one it will we will keep that one into the incubator for a 5 days and with a given 20 degrees Celsius temperature set point. Okay, so here this is the formula to calculate the BOD. So initial dissolved oxygen minus final dissolved oxygen upon the P is this called decimal fraction of the sample. Okay, and on that basis we will find the value of BOD. Why the what is the objective? It is what, to assess the quality of the surface water and wastewater, establish the amount of organic matter in the samples, and to understand the significance of the dissolved oxygen in the sample. Okay, I don't want to move much more tell about the theory part because it is already over. So let's move for the procedure one. We directly move into the procedure. Okay, so this is the platform where I share this link to you, and once you click on this link, then the aim, theory, then the pre-test is there. After that one, the procedure. I directly jump into the procedure. So what is the procedure? The procedure is what you see the rapidly the what is the procedure of it. It is the object is given. We are interested to find what is the BOD in the given sample, and for that one, what are the apparatus that we need? We need a BOD bottle, the pipettes, conical flask, burette, then beaker, dropper, BOD incubator, etc. These are the certain apparatus that we need. So it is see on this table. It is already mentioned. Okay, after that one, what is the next step? Next step is what, take a 200 ml of sample in the two BOD bottles and dilute it with the distilled water by the filling the water up to the bottle neck. So what we do, we are taking the test sample, we measure it with the help of the measuring cylinder, and how much sample we take? We take the 200 ml, and how many bottles? Two bottles we are taken. Okay, so after that one, obviously we are fill up that the 200 ml of the sample in the two BOD bottles, and once that is over, we got and we give them the naming of it, sample A and sample B. We tested the sample A and sample B, we put it into the incubator. Okay, what is the next step? Before we are putting into the incubator, first we are taking the sample A and we add the 1 ml of manganese sulfate, that is the MnSO4 solution, to the bottle which is named as sample A. So what we do, we are place or add a 1 ml of manganese sulfate into the sample. And here the care should be taken that there should not be any air bubbles to be enter into this bottle. Okay, so we have to dip this pipette somewhere here, and then we pour it, and there should we take care that there is no bubbles are formed. Okay, second step is what, we again add a 1 ml of alkali iodide azide solution into the sample. First we add MnSO4. After that one, we are adding alkali iodide iodide azide solution into it. Then again stop, just place the stopper here on the bottle. Once we add this alkali iodide azide solution, you see the sample color get changed. It is around dark yellow color. It is appeared. Then mix the solution by inverting the bottle for the 25 to 30 times. So you have to shake it the bottle so that the all solution get properly mixed into the bottle. Then we add 1 to 2 ml of concentrated H2SO4. And here again we should take the carefully without forming the bubble. So what we do, we squeeze the H2SO4 with the help of the pipette, and then we pour into the sample. Okay, up to what, up to that there should not be whatever be the precipitate which is formed in the initial stage, it will total get disappearing with the help of the H2SO4. So you want 1 to 2 ml of the concentrated H2SO4. So you see here there is a formation of some turbidity is formed here, a solid material you get. Okay, we call it is a precipitate. So now mix the solution by inverting the BOD bottle till the precipitate dissolve. So whatever be the precipitate it is formed, okay, that is a solid material. We have to shake it so that all the precipitate it has to disappear. If you find there is some precipitate is appear there, then again we add some amount of the H2SO4 so that it get disappear. So this is the process. Once we complete that process, then from the sample A, that is a bottle A, that we have to take out a 200 ml of sample into the conical flask with the help of the pipette, and this is the process of it. Okay, and then we are titrate that solution with the 0.025 normal sodium thiosulfate. So we are titrating this one with the sodium thiosulfate. Okay, so after the titration, so it is a similar one, just like in the last practical we seen that the how we can find out the DO. So here also in the BOD test we are finding the dissolved oxygen present. Okay, so we are titrating it with the sodium thiosulfate with the addition of the starch as an indicator, and we get a reading from it, that is called initial DO present. Okay, and we got the value of the initial DO, it is around 8.6. And after that one, the second bottle which we name as the sample B, we kept this into the incubator. So what is this incubator? Incubator is what? It is maintain temperature and the other conditions constant, so that there should not be any formation of the oxygen into it. So one thing is what, if there is a photosynthesis reaction is carried out, then there may be the chances of the oxygen is formed. So what we do, we kept this in the incubator. We maintain the temperature of 20 degrees Celsius here into the incubator, because we are testing a 5-day at 20 degrees Celsius temperature. And once the 5 days over, then we remove that bottle from the incubator, and again we follow the same process what we did for the sample A. Okay, same procedure we have to repeat, and then again we are titrating with the sodium thiosulfate, and again we find out what will be the value of sodium thiosulfate. That value is we are putting into the table, and after putting the table we got the initial DO, final DO, and after that one we will get a value of BOD in a given sample. Okay, so this is the the procedure of the to determine the what is the BOD in the given sample. Okay, are you getting my point? Now let's look at the what is the simulation part of it. So just scroll it, you click on the simulation part. Okay, once you click here, this windows is appear, and now we will see. Okay, I think now the whole screen is appear on your screen. Okay, so here determination of the BOD objective is clear. So this is the setup. Now click here. What is the first step? First step is to take a sample of which you want to determine the BOD present in the sample, or the organic matter present in the sample. So what we do, we collect take the 200 ml of the sample. So just click on here, open this tab, then click here. So here is the arrow shows, you have to just click on it, and once you got a 200 ml, though here it is mentioned 300, but actually we have to take the 200 ml. Why? Because 100 ml we are diluted with the distilled water. Now open the knob, stopper, then pour this one into the BOD bottle. How much? 200 ml. Then close this one. Again open this sample bottle, pour it, again measure, because here we are taking the 2 BOD bottles with the sample. The one sample is used initial DO, and the one sample bottle it is used for the final DO. Again we are pouring, so click here on the measuring cylinder one, it is pour into the bottle, and quickly you again close this one, stopper. Okay, now what we do, what is the next step? Once we collect the sample into the 2 bottles, now we are cope up the remaining one, so we fill up the remaining portion with the help of the distilled water. So we have to open it, click here, click on the distilled water bottle, and fill it up to the bottle neck, up to the here. You just remember this one. Okay, you have to fill up the distilled water up to this portion. Okay, again quickly you just close it. Now again open the second sample, just fill up the distilled water up to the bottle neck, up to here, then quickly close on this one. Now you have to label first bottle sample A, second one sample B. Okay, we are taking the sample A for the initial DO, means just we take the what is the DO present here, and this bottle sample B, it is we will keep into the incubator. Okay. The question is here, why the sample bottles are completely fill up to the neck. Now the question is why we are fill up the sample bottle up to the neck, and what is the reason behind it. There are given a certain options. The first option is given to protect from the sunlight, to maintain the temperature of the sample, to avoid the mixing of air bubble with the sample, all of the above. So here if you collect this, avoiding the mixing of the air bubbles with the sample. Okay, so that is the correct answer. Now once you solve that answer, then click on the next one. So here this arrow shows the next. So click here. Now what is the next step? Next step is we are putting the manganese sulfate. So 1 ml of the manganese sulfate that we have to pour into the sample A. So for that one we are taking the burette. Click here. Collect the 1 ml sample. Open this one. Pour this one, and here you should take care of that so that there should not be form any bubbles here. Okay, when you are pouring this one, that time you have to take care that there should not be form any bubbles, and quickly you have to close this one. Why you are closing this stopper with the help of this stopper? Just because there should not be any air bubbles to be enter into the bottle, because if it is enter, then definitely you will not get a corrected reading of it. Okay, then go for the next. Follow.
Yes, sir.
One second. Okay. So here, what is the third step? Third step is to again add the 1 ml of alkali iodide azide solution. So we take the alkali iodide azide solution. Click on here. Take a 1 ml of it, and then close this bottle. Open this one stopper from the BOD bottle. Pour it, and again here while pouring this alkali iodide azide solution, you have to again take care of so that there should not be a bubble form here, and then this is to close out. You see here, once you add the alkali iodide azide solution, then this color of the sample get changed. So first we add the MnSO4, then we add this one, and now the color get changed. Now go for the next case. So what is here again? Mix the solution by inverting the bottle, BOD bottle upside down. So what we do, we are shake this sample A for a 25 to 30 times. So you just shake it, and again there you take care of that. The one finger should be at the stopper one. So three finger you have to keep one finger here, so that there should not the stopper should be goes away from it. Okay. So allow this precipitate, whatever the precipitate it is formed for a settle down. So here you see there is a settle down of the precipitate. Okay. Once the precipitate is settled down, then go for the next stage. What is the fifth stage? Fifth here, whatever be the precipitate which is formed here, now we are remove this precipitate, and that precipitate we can remove with the help of the H2SO4. So first you have to open this bottle, squeeze the pipette bulb, and then dip into the H2SO4 solution. Okay, click on here. Now we use we click the press the up arrow button here. So we are placing it so that H2SO4 it is squeezed, and then open this stopper from the BOD bottle, and now we are pouring the concentrated H2SO4. You see here how the tip of this pipette, it should be pour into the sample so that there is no externally air is enter into this sample. Okay, then again press the down arrow on the bulb so that it get into it, and then are appear on the bottle. Now what you have to do, what is the next step? Next step is to shake it. So click on this arrow, and here is mixing the solution in the inverting the BOD bottle. So once we click, again we are shaking this one, and when you know that how to shake that bottle, so we have to protect that we have to put it the finger here. Okay, and once all the precipitate which is appeared after the addition of the ester support, that should be disappear here. Now you see here a complete disappearing of the precipitate. So all the precipitate, it get dissolved. Go for the next step. Now this sample, it is ready for the titration. So we open this stopper. We take some 200 ml sample in the conical flask. Okay, click here. Again click here, and again click on the down arrow. Now this we got a sample 200 ml. Go for the next stage. Now this solution we are titrate with the sodium thiosulfate, and the normality of the sodium thiosulfate is 0.025. So again the same process what we followed in the DO while determination of the DO. We just take the sodium thiosulfate solution, pour it into the burette up to the 0 reading. Okay. So once we fill up this one, close this bottle, remove this one, and now go for the next here. Now here, what is the step 9? Step 9 is what? We have the burette, the sodium thiosulfate in the burette. We have the sample. Now we are titrating this sample up to what? Up to the pale yellow. So this is the dark yellow color. Now we are titrating this first up to the pale yellow. And once the pale yellow color is appeared, then we add a starch as an indicator. So then we are adding the starch as an indicator. And again, once we add the starch as an indicator, then the color change from the pale yellow to the blue. And then again, we are continue the titration till the colorless. Okay. So let's check it. So first click here. Okay. So we are titrating up to what? Up to the pale yellow. Once it is a pale yellow color appear, then we stop the knob, and now we add a 1 ml of starch solution into this sample. So open this, take the 1 ml sample, starch indicator, and pour it into here. So you see here the color from the pale yellow, it is changed to the blue. And now again we are titrating from the same reading. Okay, we continue that titration. So again click on this knob, and you titrate it up to what? Up to the colorless. So the blue color change from the colorless. Once it is colorless, then stop the knob and see what is the burette reading. So here we got a burette reading is 6.8 ml. Okay. So here the question is asked, what is the normality of the sodium thiosulfate? So there is a four options. So what is the normality? Yes. What is the normality of the sodium thiosulfate? It is 0.025 normal. Then go for the next one. We got the reading, it is 6.8, and now what we do? Which indicator is here? So starch as an indicator we use, correct? Then this arrow is up here. Once you give the answer of this question, then this arrow is up here, and then you click on this arrow for the next slide. Now this is the sample B. The sample A, we got initial reading of the DO present is 6.8. Now for the sample B, what we do? We open the incubator, BOD incubator. We place the BOD bottle here. We close it, and now we set the temperature 20, because here is 15 shows. So click on here, click, click. Okay, so you got 20. Now we are waiting for a 5 days. So the 4 days completed, then 3 days completed, then two, and then one, and then it's over. Now once the 5 days completed at 20 degree, open this one, collect this, remove the bottle, close the incubator, and now here is asked why sample B is kept in the BOD incubator. What is the reason? The reason behind is to allow the to prevent the DO production via photosynthesis, to allow the DO production via photosynthesis, to heat the sample, none of the above. So obviously none of the above is not a correct answer. The heat sample is not a correct answer. We are not heating. And allow the DO production. We are not allowing to produce a DO. So it is the first answer. Prevent the DO production. Go for the next. Now again we are with this sample, what we do, we add 1 ml of MnSO4. Again we follow the same process what we follow for the sample 1. Okay, we take the 1 ml of MnSO4, open this, add the 1 ml of MnSO4 before we are titrating with the sodium thiosulfate. The first sample we added, then close it. Don't open for a long time of this bottle, because what happen otherwise the sum of the oxygen from the air, it is again enter here. Okay, sample B is kept in the incubator at a temperature of what? At a 20 degrees Celsius. Go for the next. So again we are adding the alkali iodide azide solution 1 ml. Click here, remove this cap, pour the pipette, collect the sample 1 ml. First you close this cap, then open this cap. Now pour this one sample so that there is no bubble is formed when you are pouring it. Sample, it is a yellow color is appeared, dark yellow color. Now go for the next one. Shake it for a 25 to 30 minutes so that the proper mixing of these samples. And once that is over, you settle it so that all the precipitate is settled down at the bottom side. So wait for a 25 to 30 minutes for it. And once you feel that precipitate, all the precipitate is settled down, you see here in this picture. And once this is over, click here. Now take the concentrated H2SO4 1 to 2 ml. Okay, the procedure is same what we followed in the for the sample A. Click here. Okay, pour it. Now close it. Go for the next case. Again, whatever the precipitate is formed here, okay, that is need to dissolve in this sample, and for that one we are shaking it. So inverting this bottle till all the precipitate or solid matter which is present, it is disappeared. Now here you see all the matter get disappear. Now click here, remove the tap, squeeze the take the 200 ml sample with the help of the pipette. Okay, pour it into the conical flask. Again you collect it. How much you take? You take a 200 ml sample. Okay, we are taking the 200 ml sample. Okay, then go for the next. Take the sodium thiosulfate. Again the same procedure. Remove this one. We are taking the sodium thiosulfate. So the same procedure we repeat, but that we are repeating after 5 days. Okay. Initial reading we can take quickly after making the sample 2 samples, and the second sample which we kept into the incubator, and that titration we will take after 5 days. So remove this one. And again we are titrating this with the sample with the sodium thiosulfate. Again we are titrate initially so that pale yellow color is appear. Once it is pale yellow color is appear, stop the knob. Okay, then add the starch as an indicator. Okay, take the 1 ml of the starch indicator, pour it into the conical flask in the sample. The blue color is appear, and now you continue the titration till the blue color becomes a colorless. So we are titrating it up to the blue to colorless. And once the colorless is appear, then close the knob. And now you see here the reading is 4.3. So initial reading we got it is 6.8 and this is 4.3. You click here. Now we got the two readings, the initial reading of DO and the final reading of DO. Now what is the formula? So formula is here. You click on the formula, you see here initial dissolved oxygen level. So what is that? The normality of this sodium thiosulfate into the volume of the sodium thiosulfate into the 8000 upon the volume of the sample A. That will give the initial DO. Okay. So similarly, another formula, same formula for the final DO. The normality of the sodium thiosulfate into the volume of sodium thiosulfate into the 8000 divided by the volume of the sample B. How much sample B we have taken? A and B, 200 and 200. What is the normality? 0.025. What is the volume? This is the volume and this is the volume. Okay. So this value is only changed. The remaining is as it is. And from that one, we can easily get the initial values of it. So if I'm taking this is 6.8. Okay. And I just take randomly. I don't know whether we got that one. And then we check it. And here we find around this value. Let's see. It is 114. Okay. Though it is not a corrected one, you can do the calculation. Can you calculate these values? Let me know what are the values of it. So use this formula for initial DO. This is the formula for the initial DO. And this is the formula for the final DO. And then you use this formula for calculating the BOD of given sample. How much? BOD is equals to the initial DO minus final DO into the D, or we can use this DO minus DS upon the F. F is what? Dilution factor. So here you take the dilution factor 1 by D. So how much? D is what? It is a 50. Here you take the dilution is 50. Okay. So from that 150, you got the fraction F is 0.02. Once you take these values, you can check and get what is the final BOD. From the result here, the BOD is 125. Okay. So this much is the BOD present in the given sample. Okay. And once you click here, your experiment is over. You got these values. So here is the answer. What is the acceptable range of the biological oxygen demand in the drinking water? Less than 6 milligram per liter. It is between 6 milligram to 30. It may be that greater than 30. Can you tell me which will be the answer? Let's check it. Wrong answer is given. So how much is the answer? Answer is, it is mentioned the less than 60 milligram per liter. Okay, that is the acceptable limit of BOD for the drinking water. Fine. So this is all about to determination of the BOD. So what we do, we are indirectly finding the initial DO and final DO, and from that one we are calculating the value of BOD.